show up. And he said, oh yeah, this one is not the book. So I'm going to share this story is not the book. I was in Nepal, and I ran across from New Delhi, India, after I traveled around New Delhi, some of the stories in the book. So after I crossed over to Nepal, I was in Pokhara. So waiting for, I wanted to go and track this Annapurna Ridge where everybody talks about, and then this, what do you call it, base camp 2 before you go up to Everest. So they said they can go out, it's a beautiful scenery. So I went to the registration counter and I wanted to inquire how much is the visa. Because 1 week visa have a price, 2 weeks visa another price, 3 weeks visa another price. I think it's 3 days, 1 week, something like that. So I checked the price, they're all in US dollar. So I said, wow, very expensive. This place, why charge here, charge there? First of all, I already paid for the visa to come into the country. And now I'm going to pay visa to just walk that Annapurna Ridge, And then for 3 days, and then for 1 week, this and this. So I checked the US dollar and said, wow, I mean, it's not very expensive. I just felt, no. I mean, my heart said no, okay? I said no. So as usual, what I usually do is I sit under a big tree. I always do. Whenever I got nothing to do and then to figure out like whenever I should go that way, I will find a tree and then sit down under it. Just sit down, I have nothing to do. And then someone came, this Nepalese guy came up to me and said and showed me a certificate. He said, I'm a guide, certified guide. I can bring you to this, I don't know what track you call it, I can bring you to this track, very nice, only for 4 days. So I asked him, I said, so how much is it? I think it's about $80 all in, together with the track and food and things like this. I think it was either 80 or 50, I forgot already, but it was very reasonable. I felt it was reasonable. I said, I feel alright, I felt reasonable. And now, a lot of people who meet people like this will say they better not can trust this guy. Isn't it? The first thing that comes to your mind, isn't it? That thing? But for me, when I saw this guy with his shoulders, I said, I can. And it's a very natural, I cannot explain why. I just feel that, well, this guy now can listen to a bad one. Of course I can. But then my heart will tell me, hey, this guy is good. And I went with him. So after paying him, in fact, he actually wanted to bring me to his house. His house is situated 7,000 feet above sea level. It's another place. So but in fact I didn't know because he just said he wanted to go. So I said, okay, I'll go. So then I paid him the money and I left the luggage at his house in Pokhara, in a place in Pokhara. And then we took a bus which is 3 hours ride before I have to walk in 2 days before I reach 7,000 feet to his house. And that trip became the most memorable that I had in the whole Nepal. Because when he brought me to this track, which is now called the Royal Track, that time there was no name yet. Now I know that it's called the Royal Track. If you go to Nepal now, ask me to go for the Royal Track. This track, it brings you into the villages and then up to 7,000 feet above sea level, come down to a few more villages there, and then you go back to Pokhara and then 3 hours. And that track became the most beautiful for me. Because that track, the Nepalese there has never seen a foreigner. So nobody can ask me for pen, nobody. But instead they invited me to their house. They invited me to their house for dinner.
They haven't seen foreigner, but you are like paying God to them.
They haven't seen foreigner, and especially this girl. But they won't know whether it's China or Korean or US. They only see that you are just not Nepalese. That's all. So when I went to all the villages, all the villages came out to see me. They pour tea and everything, they will boil the tea together with milk, goat's milk, and then until it overboils, and then they will pour, everybody has one, especially the men, because women don't come out. So only men will get together. So the men will gather together and they will ask questions like, are you married? Not through my interpreter, my guy who can speak very little English but he could integrate. So they'll say, oh, this guy is asking whether you're married, this guy is asking whether you have a girlfriend, whether it's a So the questions went on. So it was so much fun, I mean 3 days, 4 days, I was trekking up to 7,000 very, very cold. And I slept on top of a buffalo shed. Because they don't have a room. The houses were all built with stones and what do you call that, buffalo dung. Because they have stones already, they have to plaster, they don't use plaster like ours. So they use like cement. So when I wake up in the morning, the mother will come in with a buffalo drum, you know, and then start wiping the floor because the floor all mud. So they're wiping the floor so that when it dries, it sticks together. Okay, I think like this is smell. So because they don't have enough room, anyway they only have one room in that house, and it was very, very cold, because 7,000 feet above sea level. So I stay over at the, so they directed me to the buffalo shack. That means underneath that is a buffalo, where they rear buffalo, so all the towns were there, whatever the buffalo eats for them. Then I asked to, they gave me a room upstairs. It's actually where they place their tool.